Hi, Stephen here. Today I want to talk to you about what happens to your pension if you leave a job. Um, it happens all the time now. It's not like people are in the same job for 40 years anymore. People have lots of different careers and work for lots of different companies. Especially if you're in bigger companies, you tend to have pension benefits. So what happens when you leave? First thing is 2 years, 2 year vesting. So, under law, you have to be a member of the scheme for 2 years before you're entitled to the value of your employer contributions. They can waive this rule if they want, but 2 years is the legal amount of time. Okay. Um, so, what options are available to you? You can leave it where it is. There's nothing wrong. It's set up under trust, so it's not an asset of the company, and you can just leave it where it is until you come to maturity. One thing is you don't have much control. It's under trust. You can only invest in the funds available to the trustees. You can't switch easily between funds. You have to keep in contact with the trustees or administrators. And if you're a long way from retirement, it can be difficult. If companies merge or they move administrator, just keeping tabs on it. If you're in defined benefit, you need to keep an eye on funding levels, on the deficit of the company, um, and it is certainly a lot more complex on transferring out of a defined benefit, and you really need expert advice on that. So you can transfer it into your own name into something like it's called a personal retirement bond or buyout bond. That's in your own name, so you gain complete control. You can choose the provider, the funds you invest in. You can switch. You can switch funds at any time if you want. Um, you are bound by the same rules as the company scheme, so things like the retirement age stays the same, but you can draw down the benefits from age 50. You can do that if you leave it where it is too. If you're in defined benefit, and you transfer it out, you're going to be assuming all the investment risk. So there's a lot to consider. If I transfer it out, will it get the same as if the same pension at retirement as if I left it where it was? It's unlikely, and the default position should be leave it where it is. Okay. So when you mature the bond, you can take either 150% final tax-free lump sum, 150 final salary. 150% of your final salary is a tax-free lump sum, or 25%. The other one is transfer to PRSA. It's similar enough to a buyout bond in that you have your own control over it, okay? But there are some stipulations before you can transfer. So you have to be in the scheme for 15 years or less, or the scheme is being wound up when you're changing employment. If the fund is worth more than 10,000, a certificate of comparison is required. This document compares the benefits that you would receive if you stayed in the scheme and the benefits if you move to PRSA. You can expect to pay €1,200 for this. A retirement under the PRSA, you take 25% of the fund tax free, and you can either purchase an annuity, invest in an ARF, or take it as tax cash. The other one is you can transfer it to your new employer if you want, and just transfer it directly into their scheme. It becomes part of the scheme there, and you're under those rules. The time you spent in the old scheme transfers over into the new scheme as well. So if you would over 2 years pension benefit or service in the old scheme and you transfer it into your new one, then you automatically get vested of the contributions from your new employer. Another thing is if it's a one man type executive pension, you can change the trustee if you want. So say I had a one man pension scheme. I went and set up my own company working for myself. I can take over as trustee of that benefit of that pension without actually having to move it anywhere. That's something that's not used very often, but the option is available. It wouldn't be if you're part of a large occupational pension scheme, but the one man executive pensions, it would. So there's a lot in that. If you have any questions, you can drop me an email at stephen@bluewaterfp.ie or give me a call on 086 020 6087. Okay, talk to you again soon. Thank you. Bye.